Hey, what's up, everybody? I've been getting a lot of questions about our new home theater setup in the basement here, so I figured I'd take this as an opportunity to enter the wonderful world of a YouTube channel. So my very first YouTube video, so hopefully it doesn't suck too bad. Give me some comments or feedback on what you think, what I can do better in that realm. But at any rate, yeah. So I guess we'll just walk downstairs real quick. So I live in a 4-level split. And up until a couple weeks ago, this space down here was unused. It was to the studs, to the concrete of the floor, and so we decided to finish it off. It's about a 600 square foot space, and we decided to partition it in two parts. One part is a workout space. Okay, this is where we come to get beefy, so everybody's got to be beefy. Let's see here, and it includes what every basement setup should include, which is a low bar for gymnastics. You just never know when you're going to get the urge to want to do a back hip circle. I mean, wake up in the middle of the night, you got to come down and do it, right? And we'll come back over here. This is where all the magic happens. Just real quick, we'll just do a pan scan here of the room. Nothing too fancy, just a room. Nothing too crazy on the walls, on the fronts. Let's see here, just got a single couch. It's got 3 cushions, enough space for 4 butts, at least for a few months out of the year. You know, when it comes around holiday time, Christmas and Thanksgiving, the 4 butts goes down to 3 because we get kind of large. So next year, somebody's going to be sitting on the floor. Either that or we're going to buy a bigger couch, one of the two. So I guess might as well just get right into inventory here. The video magic, the eye candy, it comes to you courtesy of a Samsung UN65F7100. It's a 65-inch 3D LED TV. It is a visual masterpiece. The clarity is just ridiculous, especially when you're watching Blu-ray. It almost gives you motion sickness just because of the how it looks. It actually takes out some of the what you might consider to be great special effects back in the day. It actually exploits them really badly, so sometimes that stuff looks bad on this. But I'll take that any day of the week. I didn't buy it for the 3D capabilities. I could care less about 3D. I bought it for a couple of reasons. One, edge to edge, pretty much screen. Another reason, it's Samsung. I love Samsung. It's pretty much my go-to brand, and it's hasn't let me down yet. So it's a pretty good device there. And then for your listening pleasure, we have Definitive Technology. I'm just going to take a quick second to moment of silence to honor and respect Definitive Technology. I have wanted a DefTech setup since I was 18 years old. The first time I heard these things. I'm 35 now, and so do the math. That's how long I've wanted these things, and so I finally decided, just do it. I want to set up I want to set it up how I want it. So let's get what I want. These guys we're looking at here, the front large, are BP 8060 STs. These guys contain a 12-inch powered 300-watt sub, 2 passive radiators, as well as very good full range components in the front as well as in the back. You remember they're bipolar, so the sound actually radiates from the rear and off the walls, and it really gives you a full room audio. It's a completely different sound from traditional speaker setups. Let's see here, coming over to the center, got the Definitive Technology. We got the 8040. Our center channel is the workhorse of your home theater setup, so you got to make sure you get a speaker that can really handle the full range of duties that is going to be placed on it, and this guy passes with flying colors, so it's wonderful. Let's see here, over here to the left and right surrounds. Yeah, see, there's no left and right surrounds on the wall, man. Unfortunately, with this setup, I had to put speakers on the back walls. This is definitely not optimal for this configuration. Ideally, these guys are on the side walls to be your left and right surrounds. Unfortunately, as you can see, I do not have a wall here, and my wife designed, the 4th level here. she did it without the wall, and I completely agree. I don't want it to be so closed off and tomb-like that it ruins the flow. So I'd rather sacrifice some sound quality coming from the rears, the surrounds, to kind of make up for having better flow throughout the level. So I know a lot of you audiophiles that are watching this are probably bowing your head and saying Hail Mary, just because it's a sin. I understand. Unfortunately, it's what I have to work with. And I think about the only thing I could do differently is maybe put them closer together, maybe pull the couch out a little bit forward so that they're not directly right on top of your ears. And that's probably what I'll have to do, is just to pull the couch out a little bit. But as you can see, I do not have the 0.1 in the 5.1 setup. I do not have a dedicated subwoofer in this configuration. And the reason for that is, if you have heard these 8060s, living up to their potential, you'll know that they will absolutely just shake your house. I do not need any more bass. I am a bass head to the extreme. I always have been. Ever since I was a teenager, rolling around the neighborhood, I'd have 15s in the trunk. I'd have as much bass as I possibly could. I'd want to make my head explode due to the SPL that's being generated by those things. But as I've gotten older, wiser, I've come to determine that yes, there is in fact too much bass, and I don't want to ruin the theater experience by having everything drowned out by just head rattling bass coming from a powered sub. So these 8060s do a fantastic job of providing that low frequency, and I do not need anything more. So real quick here, this guy, this custom cabinet here, it ties everything in the front, at least gives me a place to put my center channel. Nice decoration, and pretty much the reason why we did this is because we got wonderful gifts like this. It's a water meter and a drain here. We need to make sure we can keep that accessible but also hide it, so we built this guy kind of just to help that out, maximize use of space. We got some photo albums under here. What else do we got? Yes, treasure trove, if you want to call it that. Small library of DVDs. It's pretty small because the larger set is actually on a streaming media server that's set up, and all that stuff's copied to the hard drive. I just stream that over the network. And I got these ancient relics. They're called VHS tapes. I know there's probably some of you out there who have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, but these guys at one point in time were the pinnacle of video quality. But now, whenever I touch one of these things, I get the same gag reflex that I get when I touch cotton. It just feels disgusting, and I try to stay away as much as I can. These guys will be gone as soon as I can digitize them and put them on the media server. That way I can throw the doggone things away. Alright, let's see here. What else did I want to talk about out here? Yeah. So, in the walls, we have run Smurf tube, so that up the wall, on the ceiling, over here. So what the Smurf tube gives us is the ability to future-proof this configuration. I've read a lot of posts online about people screwing themselves because maybe they think that their configuration can handle audio return channel on their HDMI components when in fact it can't. But they run a single HDMI, close up the wall, and then they're screwed because they can't run a separate optical cable. The interfaces are going to change over time. Right now it's an HDMI 1.4 spec, and I do believe they're talking about a 2.0, and those are going to be different cables, because I think the 2.0 is going to be 18 gigabit, and I believe the 1.4 is a 10.2 gigabit, so those cables are going to have to change. So that just gives you the ability to expand as you need and change out as you need. My HDMI cables employ Redmir technology for a mono price. Redmir is an active component in the cable, and it helps you to increase the distance of your runs without losing any of your video or audio quality. and those have been known to fail. So essentially all I'd have to do, pull the TV forward, fish the old cable out, fish a new cable in, bada boom, bada bing, I'm done. 5 minutes, I'm watching videos again. So it's just a, SmurfTube is a real, cheap addition to your project, and it just really simplifies things in the long run. So I would recommend doing that as opposed to just drilling through the studs and running your cables. Alright, so that's pretty much it for that part. So let's go into the, what I would consider to be the command center here. Just kind of get a panoramic view here. Nothing special. I don't have any of the crazy setups with all the different game systems and Apple TVs and other appliances in there. I just have bare bones stuff that I need to enjoy my home theater. So I'll just walk in here quick, straight ahead. You can't miss it. It's an eyesore. It's my Skeletech rack. It's a 28U rack full of Cisco gear. I am currently in the process of studying for my CCIE route switch certification. Hopefully we sit in the lab here soon for that. So it's nice and loud, as you can tell. But hide it back in the corner. It's kind of out of the way. So back here, kind of a side note, doing a little multicast lab with some VLC media player in the background there. Let's go up here. Inventory. We got Onkyo. Let's see here. It's an NR626 receiver. This guy's only job in life is to drive the multi-zone audio that we have upstairs and outside. If you can, get something set up like this, it really is just a nice bonus, a nice feature to have in the house. If you entertain, if you're making big meals, doing things for the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever, it's just nice to be able to flick this on and have the sounds of the season running throughout the house. It's it's not a cheap option, but if you can afford it, do it. This guy's DLNA aware, capable, I should say, so it discovers and can stream my media libraries from my media server, which is also DLNA capable. So it picks all that stuff up, and if for some reason your media library isn't good enough, then you can kick it up a notch and start streaming from Pandora or Spotify or Sirius XM, whatever you want to do. These guys are smart, so it's a pretty nice little receiver there. And then we go to the big boy here. What do we got here? We got an NR818. This guy is an absolute beast in terms of size, power, and functionality. Just in terms of sheer size, you look at that compared to the 626, like you could just eat it. This thing is, I think it weighs about 80 pounds. I mean, just in terms of just the footprint, it's much larger. But it's definitely got the power and the features to really be able to drive any home theater setup that you could ever imagine. It's a nice receiver. That guy pulls back to some binding posts for the zones. So essentially these guys are IP enabled by themselves. They have RJ45 jacks for Ethernet cables in the back, or you can get the optional wireless adapters so that you can, if you have good wireless in your house, then you can make use of that. But I control these guys via ISCP over Ethernet, via the iRule application. I'll be doing a separate video on the iRule configuration for the home automation here in a little bit, but that gives me the ability to control everything from a single remote control, and then obviously with the help of things like global cache devices. These are Flex modules here. Got these from Smart Home. Global caching is all about home automation, so you think beyond home theater, you think about lighting, climate control, security systems, garage doors, anything that you could possibly think of, you can IP enable and control over the network. So these particular configurations, I've got one set up with it's a tri-port flex-link module here. It's a standard 3.5mm female plug on one side, and then you can get IR blasters and IR transmitters. For example, I've got one transmitter right now hooked up to the Blu-ray player. That allows me to do IP to IR commands. And I've got another one in there that actually does the IP to RS-232. So the Samsung TVs, they have an EX-Link module on the back of the set, and it is a 3.5mm female plug. So I've got a 50-foot, yes, a 50-foot 3.5mm extension cable pulled back from there. So I've got the male end going into the EX-Link, the female end pulling back here into, that's interfacing with a 3.5mm to DB9 serial cable, and then that serial cable is interfacing with the Global Cache serial cable. So it allows me to get that RS-232 commands via the iRule app. We'll talk about the RS-232 and iRule in a different video, like I said, so we'll just keep moving on here. Let's see, we got all this stuff here. We got all the network drops patched into some keystone jacks and the wall plates here. If I could do that again, I would just do a wall-mounted 110 block. I think it would just be a little bit cleaner, maybe a lot less wasted space. But those guys pull back here. We got the two yellow cables that ties the office upstairs, where the point of entry for the cable and DSL comes in. So I've got that stuff terminated on this one rack unit 24-port 110 block. Okay, and then that's cross-connected over to a ancient Cisco 2950 100 megabit switch. Yes, 100 megabit. I do not have gigabit. I do not need it at this point. Even when I'm streaming full speed, I don't even come close to saturating those uplinks. Plus, it's a serviceable switch. I work for a value-added reseller. We move a lot of Cisco gear, so I can get some great not for resale or NFR pricing on gigabit switches. But at this point, to me, it's just wasted money. I do not need it. I can do all sorts of fun things in those switches to prioritize traffic if I need to. So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Again, there's a Smurf tube configuration here. We got some runs. We got this guy going upstairs. We remodeled our main level last spring into summer, and so when we buttoned the walls up, we decided to pre-run Smurf tube upstairs to spots where we think we may add a future TV and audio and video components. So we've got that set up. Again, Smurf tube comes in and saves the day. If we want to add it, we just pull it up and we go, no problem. We got a couple runs here behind the Samsung TV. These are 1-inch diameter, so it's really easy to fit the fat heads of the HDMI cables through. And then I got another one here that goes over to the workout room, and it's spitting out an Redmir cable here. So, the thing about these Redmir cables is, like I said earlier, it's an active source, so you have to make sure that you plug the right end into the right component. The beautiful thing about these is, as you can see, the diameter of this cable is very nice and flexible, as opposed to a traditional HDMI cable, which is thick and just ridiculous to try and manage. These guys, this is a 30-foot run. I think I got it for $30 or $40 for mono price. If you go to Best Buy or any of the other big box stores, they're going to try and upsell you some monster cable, different retarded stuff for hundreds of dollars, and you don't need it. This has got all the capabilities built in. It's 4K capable, full 1080p. It's got an Ethernet channel. It's got audio return. Everything you can need in a cable is here, and it works wonderfully. Let's see here, just a standard coax run, feed from upstairs. Right now I just have it in a coupler to the Samsung TV because I only have just the one source, but it's pretty soon here. I just got this from Amazon. This is an 8-port amplified amplifier for coax. It's only just a gigahertz. This will do just fine for over-the-air antennas, which is what I'm going to be running. We're going to be dropping cable TV, so this will give me what I need, because I've got a home theater PC that's got some video capture cards using Beyond TV as the DVR, so I can hook up as many sources as I need without signal degradation, which is what everybody looks for in their audio and video setup. You want to make sure everything is as pure as possible. So all these cables, all the plates, all the plugs, everything, all this stuff here, I got it all from Monoprice. You know, if you really want to save some good money, you want good customer service, Monoprice is where you go. I'll give you an example. The Keystone jacks that I have here on these wall plates, I think they're about 40 or 50 cents a piece at Monoprice. You go to Home Depot, you're going to pay $3. The same quality, same build. There's no reason in spending, you know, that much more in that. That's just one example. Let's see here. I think that's pretty much it in here. I guess I'll just take you over here to the workout room, because this is what it looks like behind the Samsung TV. This is what I was talking about. Just a bulk, you know, open interface here that you can drop your fed heads through, and it gives you the expandability and replacement capabilities that others won't. You know, I wanted to terminate this onto just a HDMI Keystone jack in the wall plate here, but Monoprice's recommendation for the Redmir is to keep it as pure as possible and bypass as many splicings or different termination points. So essentially what we have is it goes from, for example, the DVD player into the receiver, and the receiver straight into the TV, as opposed to having a plug here that would plug in the back, and then I would have just a open interface. That, not necessarily that it's going to degrade anything, it's probably going to be just fine. I just figure this way, why not? But yeah, at any rate, like I said, I'm going to be following this video up with a separate video on the iRule configuration and the home automation. So look for that, and like I said, I look forward to any comments or suggestions on how to make my videos better. I'm sure this one sucked because, like I said, it's my first one, but I'm trying here. Any comments, suggestions, anything else, just leave them on the video below, or on the comments page, and I'll try and get back to you. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.